Hey everybody. So, this is a series that I want to start every week. I am a Sunday school teacher. I call it Sunday school. They call it groups now, small groups, whatever you want to call it. I am a small group teacher at my church, and we are going through the Bible chapter by chapter, verse by verse, studying each chapter. Well, I had thought I would wait and start this series of YouTube videos whenever we started the book of Mark. But this chapter that I'm going to start with spoke to me so much that I just couldn't wait. I want to share this with the world. I think this prayer could start a revival right there in your home. And so we're going to start tonight with 2 Chronicles 14. And how it's going to work is I will read the Bible, I'll read the chapter, and you'll have to just bear with me because I am not a Bible scholar. This is just in my studies, the words the words that I say, my personal words, not the Bible, my personal words are things that I have studied and I have come up with. So, again, bear with me. I'm probably not going to pronounce the names right. I am probably going to not say things exactly the right way. But this is coming from my heart, and I really want to share with all of you. So, this week we are going to study 2 Chronicles 14. Next week will be 2 Chronicles 15, and so forth and so on until we finish Chronicles. I'm also going to post this video for my class so that anybody that misses will be able to see what we studied and not miss. We've got some that are out with the COVID right now, so they're not able to be with us, and I hate that they have missed. So this is a way for them to see what we studied, see what we talked about. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But here we go. 2 Chronicles 14. And Abijah rested with his ancestors and was buried in the city of David. Asa, his son, succeeded him as king, and in his days the country was at peace for 10 years. Asa did what was good and right in the eyes of the Lord his God. He removed the foreign altars and the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. He commanded Judah to seek the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and to obey his laws and commands. He removed the high places and incense altars in every town in Judah, and the kingdom was at peace under him. He built up and fortified cities of Judah. Since the land was at peace, no one was at war with him during those years, for the Lord gave him rest. Verse 7. Let us build up these towns, he said to Judah, and put walls around them, with towers, gates, and bars. The land is still ours, because we have sought the Lord our God. We sought him, and he has given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. Asa had an army of 300,000 men from Judah, equipped with large shields and with spears, and 280,000 from Benjamin, armed with small shields and with bows. All these were brave fighting men. Verse 9. Zerah the Cushite marched out against them with an army of thousands upon thousands and 300 chariots, and came as far as Marashah. Asa went out to meet him, and they took up battle positions in the valley of Zephathah, something like that, near Marashah. When Asa called to the Lord his God, he said, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, Lord our God, for we rely on you, and in your name we have come against this vast army. Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere mortals prevail against us. The Lord struck down the Cushites before Asa and Judah. The Cushites fled, and Asa and his army pursued them as far as Gerar. Such a great number of Cushites fell that they could not recover. They were crushed before the Lord and his forces. The men of Judah carried off a large amount of plunder. They destroyed all the villages under Gerar, for the terror of the Lord had fallen on them. They looted all these villages, since there was so much plunder there. They also attacked the camps of the herders and carried off droves of sheep and goats and camels. Then they returned to Jerusalem. Wow. This is a very powerful chapter, and this one spoke to me, y'all. And here's what I wrote. This is the revival of Judah. I truly believe that the revival started with Abijah. But Asa followed his dad in leading Judah into revival. Our fathers influence our lives. Look here. Solomon started out seeking the Lord like his father David, until his wives caused him to stray. That set Rehoboam, we call him Ray in my class, Ray, up to not seek the Lord until he was called out on it. Then he sought the Lord. In actuality, Ray seeking the Lord is probably the actual very beginning of this revival. Then, because Ray was seeking the Lord during Abijah's upbringing, Abijah sought the Lord in everything. Now Asa is ruling, and he was influenced by his dad Abijah. See, dads, you are an influencer. Your words, your actions, your everything is what your kids look up to. They take cues from you. Now, let's talk about tearing down statues and other high places. Asa was the man to do this. He took a stand and said, if we're going to be a nation for the Lord, we have to get rid of all this other mess that is causing us to think about these other false gods. So in verse 3, he tore down all of the foreign altars, the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. Then, as a strong leader, he commanded all of Judah to seek the Lord and obey his laws and commands. That's verse 4. We need a strong leader like this in America. Just saying. I think they're out there. I feel like they're getting ready to step up. I feel like this is about to happen in America. We're fixing to see revival. People are seeking the Lord, y'all. Look at our church. You on YouTube won't know about our church. But we have 2 new satellite campuses. People are coming here to our main campus and to our satellite campuses, seeking the Lord. I do bookkeeping is what I do. I do accounting for another small church here in town, and their average attendance is like 50 to 60. They've had 10 people in the last 2 months join their church. For a small church like that, 10 people is huge. I have no idea how many people that our church in the last 2 months has joined. I just don't know those numbers. I'm sure I could call the office and find out, but I just don't know those numbers. But anyway, people have been cooped up in their homes for a year and a half, and now they're seeking the Lord. They're seeking out where to find God, and so they're coming in droves looking for the Lord. Right now is the time for the church to show up and show out. It's time for revival, y'all. But before we can have revival in ourselves, we must clean up our lives too. Do we have statues or high places in our lives? Let's take this week and search our soul for the things that are holding us up from coming back to true revival. I'm going to do this too. I'm not joking. This is something that I need to do too. Anytime I'm studying the Bible for class, I'm also studying and searching and chipping away at my own demons. I'm sure I have statues and high places in my life. I am sure. It's a day-by-day process of recognizing them and getting rid of them. And once we get rid of them, we must seek the Lord to fill those holes in our lives with the Lord. We should be seeking the Lord with everything we have. Let me give you an example. Have you ever lost your keys and you have to leave the house in like 2 minutes? What do? You tear the house apart. You look for those suckers, right? I mean, they've got to be there. You retrace your steps. You turn over cushions. You open drawers that haven't been opened in years, but they might be in there. You call your wife and ask her if she's seen them. Yeah, that's happened. You get your kids involved in helping you find them. In other words, you search like your life is depending on you finding these keys. We should search for God the same way. We should search for God in every nook and cranny in our home, in our lives, and in our world. Search for Him like He is the key, and we need to leave in 2 minutes. And you have to have that key. He is the key. He is the key to everything. And you know what? He's usually there, right where we left Him. Just like our keys. This is what Asa is doing. By removing the altars, incense, high places, etc., he was causing the people of Judah to not have anything else around to distract them from seeking the Lord. Then you know what he did? He built a wall. He did. I ain't lying. It's right there in the Bible, y'all. In verse 7. Look at it. It says, "Let us build up these towns," he said to Judah, "and put walls around them with towers and gates and bars. The land is still ours because we have sought the Lord our God. We sought Him and He has given us rest on every side." And look at that next part. So they built and prospered. And then he built up his army. I'm just saying, if this is not the Republican platform, I don't know what is. I'm just saying. But seriously, today we can build an army for the Lord's servants. You can change army into Christians, and that's what the church needs to be doing right now. And I believe we are. He didn't say, "Oh, we have the Lord and we don't need an army." No, he prepared an army even though they had the Lord on their side. It's always good to be prepared in any case, in case the enemy attacks. And guess what? He was attacked by the Cushites, and Asa was ready. But before they went to battle, I love what he called out to the Lord. I want y'all to listen to this. He said, "Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, Lord our God, for we rely on you, and in your name we have come against this vast army. Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere mortals prevail against you." Y'all, we need to call on the Lord like this every day. I mean, wow. That's powerful stuff right there. Imagine it. Imagine this. If every Christian got up each morning and said those words, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, Lord our God, for we rely on you in your name. We have come against this vast army of life. Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere mortals prevail against you. Imagine, y'all, imagine how the devil would be defeated if we called upon the Lord like this every single day. And imagine if we went out of this video fired up to call on the Lord like this, and our friends and family noticed and asked what was different about us. Imagine if we told them, hey, I'm calling on the Lord daily to fight against my enemies. Imagine if they asked how you were doing this, and you told them about 2 Chronicles 14:11. Imagine if they started calling on the Lord also. Imagine if this spread like wildfire. Just imagine what kind of world we would live in if only we called on the Lord daily to slay our enemies. And to finish, what happened after Asa called on the Lord? The Lord struck down the Cushites, and the Cushites fled. Asa and his army pursued them. What if we were that bold? They didn't just say, oh, the Lord took care of it. Let me sit back and drink some sweet tea. No, they pursued them and destroyed them. And then they went on to the next town and the next. I'm not saying we need to start a civil war. No, I'm saying we need to keep after our enemies until they are small. There is no way for them to recover. My mind is just reeling about the different things that we could go up against. There are things out there that we could literally destroy and then take their plunder back to serve the Lord with it. Just imagine. And all it takes is for us to call on the Lord, like in verse 11. Just imagine if we did that.